The controversy over corruption allegations against the Kerala Chief Minister's daughter Veena Vijayan is getting bigger. Responding to the claims, the CPIM has
Thank you for joining us on the Weekend Debate. I'm Niranjan. It's 9 p.m. And in the entire week, Republic TV has been getting you details of the NewsClick controversy. Now, what is the NewsClick controversy? All of last week, we spoke about sections of the media that were sold out and lo and behold, exposed by the New York Times, which usually this section of the media likes to quote and cite while targeting the government. Now, there is a section which is proven to have received funds from Chinese agents. There's a money trail, there are mails, and there is a global report, and there's an ongoing investigation. That's our focus on the Weekend Debate, along, of course, with the second subject tonight of the Prime Minister talking about what happened in Bengal. He called it Khoon Ka Kheli. Now, we'll tell you all about what the Prime Minister said while talking about the violence in Bengal, while questioning the opposition's silence on that. Here are the headlines on the Weekend Debate.
ये लोग सदन से भाग गए, ये पूरे देश ने देखा है। लेकिन ये बहुत ही दुखद है कि इन लोगों ने मणिपुर के लोगों के साथ इतना बड़ा विश्वासघात किया।
Prime Minister Tesantri, the opposition over Manipur, says they did everything to sideline the Manipur debate and then walk out.
अभी वहां पंचायत के चुनाव हुए। इस चुनावों में टीएमसी ने कैसा खूनी खेल खेला, ये भी देश ने देखा है।
Prime Minister directly takes on the Trinamool Congress over the Bengal Panchayat poll violence, says the Trinamool, the TMC playing politics over blood.
पराधीनता को स्वीकार कर लेता है, जो लड़ता नहीं है उससे कोई प्रेम नहीं करता। और इसी भावना को लेकर आज देश गुलामी की मानसिकता से मुक्ति के संकल्प पर आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Prime Minister in battleground Madhya Pradesh raising political temperatures, questioning the Congress rule.
ब्रिटिश औपनिवेशवाद से जुड़े हुए ये तीनों कानून थे, पेनल कोड, इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट और सीआरपीसी। आज उसका भारतीय अपेक्षाओं, भारतीय आवश्यकताओं और आधुनिक चुनौतियों के आलोक में उसको किया गया, इस पर क्या आपत्ति है?
Opposition protests the law for New India, raising freedom of speech argument, the BJP giving it back.
To be very fair, I want Karnataka to have a very fair administration. This is our dream. The people on our word, they have given us a mandate.
And the political face-off continues in Karnataka over corruption allegations. BJP demanding an investigation. The Congress hitting back, denying any foul play in the contractor controversy.
करने की जरूरत नहीं है, हर किसी की आस्था सुरक्षित है और इसलिए हमें इस मामले में गवर्नमेंट से हमें कहना भी चाहिए और समर्थन देना चाहिए।
Days after the Kerala Chief Minister brings anti-UCC or Uniform Civil Code resolution, the Kerala governor slamming the anti-UCC brigade, saying there's a fake propaganda being spread led by the left. And suspense over the Pakistan caretaker government has ended. A Senator, Anwarul Haq, has been made the interim Prime Minister. Well, all of last week we've spoken about the NewsClick controversy and the paid articles, the articles for cash scam that's hit the Latvian media, the big scandal over Chinese funding. And in the last 24 hours, we've had a development with over 255 legal luminaries. They wrote a letter, open letter, asking for an investigation into how deep this rot runs of this paid media. Not just paid media, media that is working on Chinese money to discredit India, the Indian establishment, and even the Indian defense program. Now, there is a growing demand, and that demand is growing every single day with more and more people asking for action against not just this website called NewsClick, but anybody who's taken money from India's enemies. And that's our focus on the debate tonight. Here are the developments. In fact, in the latest development, the NewsClick handle on Twitter has also been suspended. Here's where we stand this evening on the story and then the debate.
The Latvian media cash for news scam has become the biggest focal point.
मान्यवर, अभी न्यूज़ क्लिक का खुलासा हुआ है। अब न्यूज़ क्लिक ये सारे लोगों को बहुत पसंद है क्योंकि हमें गाली बोलते हैं, मोदी जी को सवाल पूछते हैं तो बड़े खुश हो जाते हैं। परंतु ये न्यूज़ क्लिक किसके पैसों से चलता है? चीनी एजेंसी के पैसों से। और मान्यवर ये हमें सवाल पूछते हैं।
Citizens are outraged at the attempt to push paid propaganda from Chinese sources as news.
This kind of working at the behest of Chinese through an American person, we demand a deep inquiry in the entire process, and we urge the United States as well as the government of India to take stern action against such persons who are making mockery of Indian Constitution.
On social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, the NewsClick handle has been suspended. Questions on dubious circuitous funding have been raised considering a mysterious American billionaire seems to have links to all firms funneling funds to NewsClick, and the same American is reported to be a China frontman. But the question isn't about one media entity.
BBC is tainted because the money has come from an extremely tainted source that's very anti-India, and the BBC has a history of anti-India propaganda. Apart from the very dubious credentials about receiving money from a Chinese state entity, the source, the documentary relies substantially upon a 2002 inquiry report. That inquiry report conducted in India was by a gentleman called Jack Straw, including receiving funds from a Chinese shell company. He is the author of the 2002 documentary, and the 2000 documentary, right, the report which it relies upon, is substantially his creation.
It's time for all those with China funding to come clean. Let's debate.
And joining us on the debate this evening are Sanju Verma of the BJP spokesperson, BL Vohra, who's also the former DGP of Tripura and also a signatory to this letter that was written yesterday by 255 eminent personalities. Joins us on the debate. Lokesh Jindal, a political analyst, leans towards the Congress party. He's live with us. Nikhil Jain, advocate, was also live on the debate this last evening. He's also with us. Mr. Vohra, while of course we've gone through your letter in detail yesterday, the one you've written along with, or rather signed on along with 254 others, I have with me, this mail trail, and it's a very interesting mail written by this Chinese agent called Neville Singham, who writes to Prakash Karat, email ID being prakash@cpim.org, and he says in this letter, Mr. Vohra, that China is changing very quickly in response to the new global conjuncture. And then he goes on to talk about how great China is and how they are grateful to the Communist Party of India. And they talk about how they need to spread the Chinese word here in India, hoping to increase coverage of India, Brazil, South Africa in popular format for a wide audience in China. Then he goes on to talk about the speed at which China is moving, and it's dated around in January 2021. Around that time they increased these email exchanges. They talk about how great China is at a time when we were confronting them. We had a huge face-off at the height of the Galwan clash. As someone who's served the country, Mr. Vohra, you've been a former DGP. You've held different posts. What do you make of this entire controversy, and why did you believe you had to sign that open letter?
The reason I have been watching the activities of Chinese, from 80 onwards, if you ask me. I was at that time, first time posted to Manipur. I was sent on promotion as a DIG. And Imphal itself was burning. There used to be firing in the mahallas of Imphal by the insurgent groups of Meiteis, prominent being PLA, named after the Chinese Army, People's Liberation Army, and KCP and PRIPOC and all that. Now, I had the occasion to interrogate the leader of the PLA, the insurgent group, Visheshwar Singh, a very charismatic, well-known name in those days. And he told me how they had gone to China for training. Now, the Chinese connection with the Northeast, abetting, helping, has been going on for decades. And even in the present crisis, I am sure, though I am not privy to any intelligence reports being now retired, but definitely China has big interest in hand in the matter. Now, China's activities otherwise also, as you know, since 1962 at least openly, but coming to the specific thing now. Now here, there are two pieces of evidence which according to me are very important. One is the New York Times reports. Second is ED itself has raided this company, so they wouldn't have done it without any reason. And this exposes a larger issue, if you ask me, a larger scam, you can call it, a larger conspiracy, you can call it. Now, where there are many people who are so much anti-India, so much that they're willing to go to any lengths. Now, if you have gone through, surely you would have gone through the various stories that they came about China, that China did better than India in COVID, that China was not responsible for originating of COVID. I mean, like these, not one. There have been dozens of stories by this. They're always suspicious and propagating here. Okay, you are like Communist Party. Maybe you have your own ideology when you're more loyal maybe to the other countries, which of course is wrong. But then the funding itself has proved by this person called Singham, who's of Sri Lankan descent. And he bought this shares of this company at astronomical rates. So I think that we have felt that this is too much going against India's interests. And that's why we have written to the Honorable President of India to direct the Union government to investigate the matter. And we have also forwarded a copy to the Chief Justice of India for similar action at his level. That's the reason we wrote, and we very strongly feel about it.
Yeah. I'd like to get, yeah. I'd like to get one response from Lokesh Jindal, who leans towards the Congress party, and then I'll get in Sanju Verma as well. Lokesh Jindal, these are not people who've simply, just signed on a letter like most people do, in Lutyens, Delhi. There was a time when they would write open letters, post it on social media, hold placards, ask for action, stand on the streets, right? Now, these are Indians, former chief justices, former judges, former home secretary, former Ross chief, former director NIA, former ambassadors. They've also served India. All of them have served India, right? Former secretaries, former IGs, former chief commissioner, income tax, former DGP, right? Veterans who've served the country in uniform. These are people who are concerned. You know why? Because they've served the country and they know what it feels like when you're at the LAC and you're up against China, and then we lose our soldiers and we give them a bloody nose as well. What will you do as a party, for example? What will the Congress party do? Will you question the CPIM, whose functionaries allegedly got some money for whatever services they render to China or to the Chinese cause?
Good evening, everybody. We must get this straight and clear that for Congress and every congressman, the interests of nation comes first. We are not anti-nationals. I don't know why is it that a form of a misinformation or a propaganda is being promoted as if we are anti-nationals. If we are questioning the government, we do not become anti-nationals. And secondly, about the NewsClick agency, this entire saga.
Nobody called you anti-national. I asked you a question whether you asked your ally in I.N.D.I.A about their... Yes. Can you please come straight to the point? Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. My question was, have you asked your ally in I.N.D.I.A about why they allegedly received money, or some functionaries received money from your alliance?
Look, the government already has laws, the IT Act. It enables the government to look into any information that is being promoted, propagated into the media. And we also have the government having significant laws in the form of, it's a penal code is there. If somebody is trying to spread misinformation, it's a punishable offense. The government at this point of time cannot put blame of its inactivity for its inability to restrict propaganda from spreading, for its failure from protecting the national sovereignty, integrity, I would say national security, from external propaganda, by putting blame on certain news agencies. You may take the legal course of actions. However, it is up to the government as well to ensure that such agencies...
Are you defending the money that was given by China by any chance?
No, why will I defend that? Niranjan,
are you trying to make a case for NewsClick or the political functionaries who received funds?
38 crore rupees that is being investigated by Enforcement Directorate. ED, it has also charge sheeted Neville Singham.
Correct.
And he has been active since 2018 till 2020. In fact, in 2018, there was another journal via which Neville Singham was accused of spreading propaganda.
Come to the point.
The point is, ED is doing its job. Is this clear? And whoever is being, whoever has indulged into money laundering and all forms of illegal activities, they would be brought to the legal course of action. However, trying to use this entire saga politically and blame certain political oppositions as anti-national is something that
I gave you a good 2 minutes to ask. I asked you a simple question and you failed to answer my question, and I understand that you may have compulsions as well as when it comes to China, because we still don't know what was in that MOU that was signed by some of your party leaders. Let me now hand it over to...
Which MOU,
let me hand it over to Sanju. She has a response for you, and then I'll come to Nikhil as well. No, I understand you may have your compulsions, before you say anything, maybe one of the compulsions or terms of agreement was not to speak about China or those who receive money against China. I don't know. Sanju.
What do you say? In fact, during the present regime, the trade,
I need my time.
The trading share with China has increased manifold. In fact, today's time, we are having the highest.
See, we've had a decent debate so far. We've had a decent debate so far. Let Sanju speak, and then let Sanju speak.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, Lokesh, let Sanju speak, and then I'll come back to you because Nikhil also hasn't spoken. Yes, Sanju.
Thank you. I agree with you. We've had a very sane debate, which is a rarity these days, Niranjan. Thanks to you. First and foremost, I just want to say that yesterday, on the debate with Arnab, the former DGP of Kashmir, Mr. S.P. Vaid was there. Today we have another former DGP, Mr. Vora. And I'm not surprised that the 255 signatories who've written to the President and the Chief Justice, that includes, as you rightly said, Niranjan, 14 retired judges, 112 retired bureaucrats, including 12 former ambassadors and 129 retired armed force officers. So point number one, if 255 decorated army men and former judges and bureaucrats have written to no less than the Chief Justice of India, I think nobody on this panel should doubt the bona fides of this 255 people. And what do these people say? They say we have no words to describe such people. When they say such people, they are talking of Neville Roy Singham, they are talking of the likes of Prakash Karat, they are talking of the likes of Prabir Purkayastha and his NewsClick. They go on to write, we are giving too wide a leverage to all kinds of inimical forces under the garb of free press. The email exchanges that are in the public domain establish beyond doubt that these people are not leaders but dealers. So basically, these decorated 255 people have said that the doings of Prabir Purkayastha, Neville Roy Singham, Prakash Karat, blah, 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 these people are dealers. And I will just say one very important point. The amount of money laundering now involved, the latest figure that I have, Niranjan, is not 38 crore or even 45 crores, but it is 77 crores. And the Enforcement Directorate has now been given the go-ahead by the Delhi High Court to continue investigation into NewsClick's money laundering activities, because don't forget that 2 years back, the Enforcement Directorate had its hands bound by the fact that Prabir Purkayastha was given immunity and protection by the Delhi High Court, but that immunity has since been cancelled, which I think is great news. And most importantly, now the Enforcement Directorate has also slapped criminal conspiracy charges. But my simple point is this: the ED will do what it needs to do. But why is it that this entire Congress left cabal, when New York Times vilified the Modi government's handling of COVID, this entire cabal, including Prakash Karat, Rahul Gandhi, blah, 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 said, excellent job by New York Times. When New York Times doubted Modi government's secular credentials across a wide array of op-ed columns over the last 9 years, everybody from the Congress to the leftist to the I.N. cabal said, excellent job by New York Times. When the New York Times questioned the migrant crisis during the COVID pandemic, everybody from the left cabal said, oh, New York Times is doing some great investigative journalism. But today, now that the tables have turned, now that New York Times has questioned one of their own, a man named Prabir Purkayastha, one of their own, a man named Neville Roy Singham, one of their own, a man named Prakash Karat. Suddenly everybody is telling me on a zillion debates that I've done in the last couple of days, why is the BJP so gung-ho about New York Times? Arey bhai sahab, if you can be gung-ho about New York Times, जब आप तालियां बजाते थे, तब तो बीजेपी ने कुछ नहीं कहा. आज जब हमारी बारी है ये कहने की that we stand by New York Times की story, why are you so rattled? आपके पेट में इतना दर्द क्यों हो रहा है? And the most important point of this, the BJP does not need, I will take 10 seconds more, Niranjan, the BJP does not need lessons in the China book from a party and a leader called Rahul Gandhi, who was surreptitiously visiting the Chinese embassy officials in 2017 at the height of the Doklam standoff. Despite Rajnath Singh, despite Amit Shah, despite External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar saying that China has not encroached or even annexed a single inch of territory under the Modi dispensation in the last 9 years. What does Rahul Gandhi go and say at Cambridge? Oh, no, China encroached and took over 2,000 square kilometers. I mean, is this man even talking sense?
Yes.
So basically,
You know,
all I'm saying
I'll
is
tell
that
you,
he didn't do its
and
job.
you were right, Sanju, because I still. Yeah.
Don't question the bona fides
Yeah,
of
point
the
taken.
enforcement
And you know,
agency.
Nikhil Jain, I have this article. Yeah, I have this article in front of me. Okay, Nikhil Jain, 1 second before you respond. I have this article that Congress Party held news conferences on. It was dated, I'll tell you, April 24, 2021, published by the New York Times. The article read, and it read, as COVID-19 devastates India, deaths go undercounted. And you know, I can't remember how many Congress leaders retweeted and publicized that article, but I remember the Congress Party lauded the New York Times for its journalism. I'm very, very upset, and I'm sure even the New York Times would be upset that you are criticizing and instead defending to choose backing not just your alliance, but for some reason you're not even saying a word. You're not even saying that you know, funding from China should be investigated. Why are you afraid to take a stand, Nikhil? Why are you afraid to take a stand? If propaganda pieces were being planted by China and Chinese agents, why aren't you taking a stand?
Ranjan, first of all, I hope Sanju is not going to interject me when I speak, because I was listening very patiently. Secondly, I'm very glad to see her finally agree to the authority of New York
She
Times.
has not done that.
Don't. Thirdly, I am really concerned as the other 255 signatories of that letter, including Director General Vora, who's on the debate with us, that why is the Indian government not acting on it? Niranjan, your channel 2 years earlier had broken this story, and all that we see from the Indian government so far on this is a money laundering action. But the charges right now pertain to essentially spreading, not essentially, actually spreading propaganda of the Chinese government in India, which is directly an issue of national security. Why is the Indian intelligence framework, why is the Indian national security framework not acting upon it? Is Mr. Amit Shah the Home Minister? Is Mr. Rajnath Singh the Defense Minister? Is Mr. Dr. Jaishankar the Foreign Minister? Why are all of them sleeping, and why is it only the Enforcement Directorate that is acting? And Sanju said that in 2021 there was a stay from the Delhi High Court to proceed against, directing the ED to not proceed against this publication NewsClick, but that was only for the Enforcement Directorate and not the intelligence agencies. Secondly, why did the Government of India not appeal that decision? Why did they choose to simply sleep upon it? Thirdly, she's talking about how Rahul Gandhi is supporting the Chinese stand. In fact, Rahul Gandhi is the person who's raising his voice against Chinese grabbing our land, and so far as her statement being that Amit Shah has clearly said it in the parliament, we know the track record of Amit Shah, his predictions and his honesty. Satellite imagery that can be independently verified, that can be verified by you, Niranjan, is very clearly showing that Chinese have indeed crossed into that part of territory which was no man's land but was earlier patrolled by Indian forces. They have now structures there. We have a Prime Minister who said, na koi aaya hai, na koi aayega, when 34 of our soldiers, including a colonel, were martyred. So obviously the only political party which is playing down the atrocities by China on our soldiers, on our borders, is the BJP. And why is the BJP not willing to act from the national security setup and from the intelligence setup against Chinese propaganda being set free in the country? I don't understand. Why do they have to continue with this just a money laundering action?
1 minute. I want to bring in. I found it interesting, Nikhil. Nikhil, I found it interesting. I find it interesting. I find it interesting that you actually say that Rahul Gandhi takes a very strong stand on China. I think you used the word usurping or sitting on Indian land. Please remind me of the minister in the UPA government, Sanju. What is that minister's name? Oh my God, who's that minister? Was it A.K. Anthony? Was it A.K. Anthony who spoke about how they were helpless in building infrastructure along the LAC? Was it A.K. Anthony who also put a number to how much of land had been taken over by China over the decades? Nikhil, can you tell me how much of land? Can you tell me how much of land was taken by China as admitted by the Congress, Sanju? How much was it?
Yes.
Tell me the number. Sanju.
I will give you the number, Niranjan. Now, I did not interrupt.
Niranjan, China has only been able to grab 2,000 square kilometers of the territory.
Nikhil.
Nikhil, don't interrupt. Nikhil, don't interrupt. Nikhil, don't interrupt. Nikhil, don't interrupt. She didn't interrupt you.
Thank you. I want to know, Niranjan, I'm so glad you gave me an opportunity to call out the ignorance and the bluff of this Congress panelist called Nikhil Jain. First and foremost, I found it hilarious when he said, why is only the Enforcement Directorate investigating NewsClick? Why is Amit Shah not doing something? The Enforcement Directorate, mind you, reports into Amit Shah by virtue of him being the Home Minister. Padh likh kar aaya karo debate mein, don't make a fool of yourself on national television. But the more important point that
Intelligence Bureau also reports to Home Minister Amit Shah. Why is the Home Minister Amit Shah not using the Intelligence Bureau? Why is it only stuck with ED? Come on, yaar, Sanju, don't make personal remarks on the debate.
I did not.
We are talking about an issue of national security. Show some seriousness on the debate, yaar.
I did not interrupt this man.
Nikhil,
You can't make personal remarks.
Nikhil, don't interrupt. Nikhil, don't interrupt.
Me to not
Because you made a fool of yourself.
No, Nikhil, don't
You made a
interrupt.
fool of yourself.
Nikhil, don't interrupt.
Nikhil. Yes, thank you. Niranjan, look at the audacity.
I made a fool of myself. Everybody knows who's the biggest fool of the debate right now.
Can I finish?
What is happening right now, yaar? Don't make personal remarks. Let's stick to the topic. Stick to the topic. Stick to the topic and answer for your government. Answer for the failures of
Nikhil,
your
here or
government.
out, I'll give you
Don't
30
try to
seconds. Okay, I'll give you a chance to respond. I'll give you a chance to respond. Nikhil, I'll give you a chance to respond. I'll give you a chance to respond. Calm down. Let her finish. 30 seconds and then I'll give you 30 seconds. Here.
Yes. Niranjan, no, he took a minute. I need my minute. And I repeat, why I said that this man has made a fool of himself, I did not say that about Lokesh. Because Lokesh spoke on issues I may not agree with him. But this man, Nikhil Jain, what was the Home Minister doing? What was X doing? आप Home Minister को गालियां देते हो and you expect that I will hold back my punches? पहले अपनी जुबान पर control करो. If you show respect, I will give you respect. Now, I will make some very quick points, Niranjan. First and foremost, we all know 38,000 square kilometers of Aksai Chin was handed over on a silver platter, or should I say a golden platter, by the ex-great-grandfather of Rahul Gandhi and our former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to the Chinese. And he's on record saying, Aksai Chin dene mein kaun si badi baat hai? Not even a blade of grass grows on Aksai Chin. That was Nehru's lame excuse while handing over 38,000 square kilometers. Who gave large parts of Chapji Valley? Who gave large parts of Benchok? Who gave large parts of Tiapangnak? Be it Chapji Valley, be it Tiapangnak, be it large parts of Benchok. All these places were handed over without even this much an iota of a resistance by Nehru and his equally incompetent successors from the Gandhi-Nehru dynasty to the Chinese. Point number 2, I repeat, for the first time in post-independent India, don't forget, Niranjan, and you know this better than most of us, China has a territorial dispute with at least 18 nations. It shares a border with about 14 to 15 countries. For the first time in February 2021, the Modi government forced a bully like China to have a voluntary disengagement.
Yeah.
The Indian forces disengaged to finger 3 and China disengaged and went back to its position at finger 8.
Sanju, I have to make one point. I have to make a point.
Can I just finish in 20 seconds?
I have to make a point now, Sanju. I have to make a point. Let me tell you something. Okay. 20 seconds. Okay.
I'm not even asking what was that MOU that was signed in 2008 between Sonia Gandhi and the Chinese Communist Party. I'm not even saying why did Rajiv Gandhi take tons of dollars into his Rajiv Gandhi Foundation from the Chinese and the likes of Zakir Naik. I'm not even asking what was Rahul Gandhi doing surreptitiously giving a jadoo ki jhappi to the Chinese embassy officials at the height of the Doklam standoff. I only want to ask one thing. Don't you believe your own Union Home Minister? Don't you believe your own Union Defense Minister Rajnath Singh? Don't you believe your own Defense PRO at Tezpur? Don't you believe your own External Affairs Minister when they have said in one voice that China has not acquired a single inch of land?
Sanju, I want to ask them now.
Why are you going on peddling false narratives?
I need to ask them now only because I'm running short of time and we have another debate. Sanju, just bear with me because we have another debate and I have to take a break and go to the next debate and we have panelists. I'm going to ask one last question. Either Nikhil Jain or Lokesh Jindal can take this question, okay? Factually counter me, yeah? Factually counter me. Factually. In 2013, former Foreign Secretary Sham Saran was back then the chairman of the National Security Advisory Board in 2013 under the National Security Council of the Manmohan Singh government, in a report said that 640 kilometers was taken over by China. He said People's Liberation Army Patrol had set a new line of control by occupying 640 square kilometer of Indian territory in eastern Ladakh. This was a report that was submitted to the government by a body entrusted by the government, and this was under the regime of Manmohan Singh. 640 square kilometer. Counter me factually, either one of you, counter me factually, okay? The land grab in 2013 happened after India had signed 9 agreements, including the Border Defence Cooperation Agreement, or the BDCA. The same year in March, between Lee Keqiang and Manmohan Singh. Now please counter me factually, either one of you. Am I making this up, or was it a government report that was given to Manmohan Singh? Please tell me. Who wants to go? Who wants to go first?
Yeah. So on the report that you're talking about,
So first we will have Nikhil, then I can give my
can I
own
take
point
that
of
if you
view.
permit?
If
Please
both of
go
you
ahead.
want to go, then
So
take
Niranjan,
15 seconds
the
each, because I have to
report
end the
that you're
debate. 15
talking
seconds
about,
each, Nikhil, make your
say
point.
Niranjan, the debate, the report, I'm not denying the report. It was by a Government of India agency, and that was the beauty of the Manmohan Singh government, that they were not lying to the people of India.
Thank you for
However,
admitting the
during
report.
the Modi era, 2,000 square kilometers, 3 times the area has been taken.
This man is again
You
lying.
just admitted land grab under
This
Manmohan
man
Singh.
is again
The government or any of its functionaries at Sanju, you can't keep
Look
on
at this
heckling.
rapid
Every
fire.
time there is a point
No,
made, she
I
keeps
will
on heckling.
heckle you.
Niranjan, you
You
don't
are
say anything to her.
lying. You are
She's making
lying.
personal
I will-
remarks.
You
She's
just
making personal
admitted.
remarks. She's calling me
You
a
are
fool.
lying.
She's
You are
calling me
lying.
names.
You are
Okay, okay,
What
okay.
is the
Give him 10 seconds, Sanju. Sanju, give him 10 seconds. Sanju, give him 10 seconds.
Civilized debate. Do you always have to act this senile?
Sanju, give him-
You are a liar.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Sanju, give him 10 seconds.
Corroborate your reckless allegations. Corroborate your
And
reckless
you,
allegations.
I
Otherwise
would not stoop down to your level. Sanju, I will not stoop down to
No,
your
no,
level.
no. I missed the allegation. What was the allegation? I missed the
I
allegation.
refuse to stoop down to your level. You have
No, no, what was the
absolutely no
allegation?
shame or no manners to be on a news debate. I am not going
Okay,
to.
you know what? I don't. I have very little time. Please don't do this. It's not fair. It's not fair. Don't speak over each other. I'm okay. We need 15 seconds to Lokesh. 15 seconds to Lokesh.
Jhoota. You're a big time
Lokesh.
jhoota.
I have strong
You are a big time
objections.
jhoota.
I have strong
You are a big time
objections. I
jhoota.
have strong objections.
Yes, Lokesh. Okay. Sanju, pull back.
She can't make personal remarks.
Sanju, pull back.
The Home Minister.
Nikhil, pull back. Please. Nobody can hear each other, please.
Intelligence Bureau. He cannot only act with the AD or the
Oh, for God's sake, yaar, I asked you about 2013, yaar. 2013, Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. Hello, Nikhil. Nikhil, 2013, Manmohan was the Prime Minister, yaar.
I am
Please,
admitting the report.
please.
I am
Yes,
not here to lie.
Lokesh.
Niranjan, I am not here to lie. I am admitting the
You are
report.
a liar.
At the same time, I am also saying that.
Let Lokesh speak, yaar. We've lost 2 minutes already. Lokesh. Okay, pull back. Lokesh.
Yes.
Give Lokesh.
Niranjan, this has been a very
Okay, guys,
typical
everyone
from
pull
the
back on the language.
Chinese side.
Lokesh, yeah.
Yes, this has been very typical from the Chinese side. After
Typical.
every bilateral engagement, they have resorted to violence. For example, even after Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited China, after that we saw what happened in Galwan. So the point is,
I am asking you, what was my
our
question? My
policy
question
needs
was,
to
is it
be-
true? Is it true that there was a report that admitted that 640 square kilometers was usurped by the Chinese under Manmohan Singh rule in 2013?
No. Wait.
Is it true?
The finding by the then
No.
National
Answer my
Security
question on the
Advisor.
report.
I do not have credible information to give my opinion on this particular report that you're talking about. But all I can say at this point of time, with
I
what
gave you
I
enough
know
time to
is-
Google also. You could have Googled it. You would have Googled it. You would have found it.
No,
Lokesh, you
I
could have
don't- I
Googled
don't
it. You would have
believe
found
it.
it. But
I
let me
don't-
tell you once again,
No,
because you're not, you haven't read up on it.
dangerous thing,
I'm going to
Narendra.
tell you once more, and I'm going to end the debate with that. Hear me, because you'll need the keywords. 2013, Google kar lo. 2013, Sham Saran, who was at the time chairman of National Security Advisory Board under the National Security Council of Manmohan Singh government, 640 square kilometers. Now go figure that out. Thank you very much for joining us on the debate. I'm taking a short break here on the Weekend debate, coming back with debate number 2 and what the Prime Minister said about the violence in Bengal. That's coming up next. Thank you for watching.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
A squadron of the upgraded MiG-29 fighter jets has been deployed at the Srinagar Air Base ahead of Independence Day celebrations to tackle threats from both bordering nations. Century Laminates brings you this report.
A squadron of upgraded MiG-29 fighter jets were deployed at the Srinagar Air Base to tackle threats from both the Pakistani and the Chinese front. The Trident squadron has replaced the MiG-21 squadron at the Srinagar Air Base and is responsible for taking care of the threat from Pakistan. The MiG-29s have been defending the Kashmir Valley for many years. The fighter jets have managed to strike down an F-16 in 2019 post Balakot airstrikes on Pakistani terrorist camps.
The Srinagar airfield lies in the center of the Kashmir Valley and its general elevation is more if you compare it to plains. So strategically it is better to place an aircraft which has higher thrust to weight ratio, less response time due to proximity to the border, and is also equipped with better avionics as well as long-range missiles and air-to-ground as well. So MiG-29 aircraft fulfills all these criteria, due to which they are very much capable of taking enemy at both the fronts.
The upgraded MiG-29 is a versatile multi-role combat aircraft. Its capability includes the night vision capable cockpit, as well as it has increased fuel capacity, including the air-to-air refueling.
The MiG-29 has also been equipped with very long-range air-to-air missiles and air-to-ground weaponry after the upgrades. They are also armed with lethal weaponry, making use of the emergency procurement powers given to armed forces by the government. The MiG-29s were the first aircraft to have been deployed in the Ladakh sector for tackling the threat from the Chinese side after Galwan clash of 2020 and have thwarted multiple such attempts since then. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi referred to the violence during the Panchayat polls in West Bengal. He said the Trinamool Congress played with blood. The Prime Minister further accused the party of booth capturing. Century Laminates brings you further details on this. Take a look.
पश्चिम बंगाल के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए, पश्चिम बंगाल के गरीब भाई बहनों के लिए जिस प्रकार से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, एक प्रकार से
All right, the other big story we've been tracking today, the Prime Minister and what the Prime Minister had to say about the violence in Bengal. In fact, he made some very strong observations. In fact, the Prime Minister said, while talking about the violence in Bengal, which most opposition parties, of course, failed to even mention, over 40 lives were lost during the Panchayat elections from the time it was announced to the day when the results came out. And even after that, today the Prime Minister said, TMC ne khooni khel khela hai. He said, TMC ne khooni khel khela hai. Can the Trinamool Congress duck this charge made by the Prime Minister? Here's what he said, and then the debate.
Addressing the Kshetriya Panchayati Raj Parishad in West Bengal, the Prime Minister raised the Panchayat poll violence.
अभी वहां पंचायत के चुनाव हुए. इस चुनावों में टीएमसी ने कैसा खूनी खेल खेला, ये भी देश ने देखा है. पहले चुनाव में इनका तरीका क्या है? पहले तो चुनाव की तैयारी के लिए समय मत दो, बहुत ही जल्दी फॉर्म भरने की तारीख घोषित कर दो, फिर कोई भी विरोधी दल का, कोई भी बीजेपी का व्यक्ति पर्चा ही न भर सके, इसके लिए जो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं करो।
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee attacked Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, over his remark that Trinamool Congress is playing with blood. And Trinamool Congress is the party which is actually encouraging violence in West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee said while attacking Prime Minister Modi that behave properly. There is no evidence that Trinamool Congress is playing with blood.
He is speaking without any evidence. He wants the poor people should die, the country should die, the common people should suffer, and only BJP is their backup. Cannot reach the people with their ideology. Forgotten all the ideology. Their ideology is only to create. Well, you cannot raise the corruption issue because you are fully surrounded by so many issues.
The Trinamool Congress is denying the charge.
बंगाल के विषय आपके जो भाषण में आज आया है, बंगाल से इस तरीके के सौतेला सलूक क्यों इस तरीके की सौतेला व्यवहार किया जा रहा है? हमारे सवाल यहाँ पे है, हम लोग प्रतिवाद करते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री आप तो हमारे इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री है और हम लोग के भी प्रधानमंत्री है, लेकिन ये असत्य भाषण क्यों?
The reality of the violence cannot be denied. So who is indulging in doublespeak on the horrifying poll violence? Let's debate.
Okay, I have exactly about 10 to 11 minutes on the debate and we have 4 panelists. I'm going to give equal time, hopefully 2 minutes to each of the panelists. I have Sanju Verma of the BJP, Pratim Ranjan Bose, political analyst, Professor Manojit Mandal, political analyst, Nilanjan Das, also joining us, leans towards the Trinamool Congress. He's a political analyst. Let me start with you, Professor Manojit Mandal. 2 minutes each. I want you to tell me whether it's a reality or not that over 40 people were killed, bombs were hurled, ballot boxes were stolen, candidates were shot dead, polling agents were murdered, voters were targeted across the political spectrum. I'm not pointing fingers at your party alone, but did that happen or not?
The Prime Minister of India, look at the pathetic condition of the state of information system that we have. He doesn't know that the BJP could file actually the maximum number of nominations in the country. That is over 50,000 and total 231,000. And point number 2, the Prime Minister also looked at the
that in past elections, the opposition got highest number of votes in the country. That is 48%. His Home Minister, in fact, immediately after the publication of results said that we have increased our tallies this time. No, that was a blatant lie. But look at the pathetic condition of the Prime Minister. Sir, look within what you have done, what you could not control Manipur. How many times you have visited Manipur since the last 3-4 months? Why nearly 200 people were butchered because
Niranjan, this debate is not on Manipur.
36 seconds of that kind of crocodile tears. You cannot hide this shame, this humongous shame, and now you're trying to hide behind this narrative of Bengal violence. Shame on BJP.
Okay, Manojit.
Shame on BJP.
Okay, Manojit.
May I come in, Niranjan?
Manojit, first of all, okay, 2 points, Manojit. First of all, this debate is about Bengal. 1 minute. Sanju, before you come in. First of all, debate is about Bengal. Secondly, the number that you just mentioned, 300 people killed in Manipur, I'm not sure about that number. I am not sure about that number. I am aware officially of a number which is at 160. I am not sure of a number above that. 1 minute.
Ask him to amend.
Manojit, I requested you that we'll have a decent debate. 1 minute.
I'm asking this question.
Okay, I'm giving Pratim Ranjan Bose. Sanju, before I come to you, Pratim Ranjan Bose. Pratim Ranjan Bose. Okay, 1 minute. I told you I have little time. Please don't. Manojit, I promised you I'll give equal time to everyone. Please don't heckle. Please. Pratim Ranjan Bose. Sanju, I'm coming to you. Pratim Ranjan Bose.
I'm only putting out the fact, Niranjan. I'm not heckling. Please do not hate so much the Bengalis. Then if I put out the fact, that becomes heckling. Why do you hate us so much, the Bengalis? I don't understand.
Okay, Pratim Ranjan Bose.
Yeah. So can I respond?
See, first of all, in West Bengal, you can't tell how many people are dead because officially, I think the government referred something around 19, which matches with the tally of Trinamool, so to speak. Trinamool supporters died. So, in the case of West Bengal, and according to media reports, I mean, which many of us do keep tallies whenever a death report came up. So, number went up to 57 or so. But it can be even higher because many people who were injured might have died, but we don't know. So that's a very interesting, in West Bengal, you just cannot say that these people have died and that many people have not died. Second problem is that, see, whenever we start speaking about Bengal, we will go, someone will take us to Gujarat, Manipur, and God knows where. I'm giving you, I mean, it's a shame that we have to keep discussing about violence in Bengal. It calls itself, these people call
Manojit, nobody heckled you when you, Manojit, nobody heckled you when you spoke. I'm requesting you, Manojit. Manojit, I'm requesting you, please. Manojit. No, Manojit, 1 minute. No. Manojit, please don't do that. Don't heckle him. Don't heckle him. Manojit, don't heckle him. Okay, Manojit, I told you we have very little time. Please don't heckle him. No, don't heckle him. No. I won't let you do that. I won't let you do that, Manojit. Manojit, I won't let you do that. Please don't do that. I gave you the first word. Please don't heckle him. It's not fair. Please don't do that. Okay? I'm coming to Nilanjan. Sanju, I'm giving you the last word. Nilanjan, Mamata Banerjee says the Prime Minister is speaking without any evidence. He wants common people to suffer and that his own people are involved in atrocities. Okay, I admit to some extent that even Trinamool Congress leaders were attacked. I don't know who attacked them, right? You can make your allegations. But what kind of evidence is she talking about? Are you denying the fact that 40 people were killed in poll violence?
No, I'm saying that 40 people were killed and 2 out of 3 people were TMC workers who have been killed by BJP and their allies in Bengal, who are CPM and Congress and ISF. So the situation in Bengal is crystal clear. It is a BJP's plan to create riot in Bengal. They want to create this ruckus in Bengal and then thereafter, clamor for president's rule. This is their entire agenda. And by the way, let me first of all thank the Honorable Prime Minister for virtually addressing Bengal. He addressed a conference after having won 0 Zila Savadipatis. So I don't know how he would deal with this embarrassment. So I think Mr. Prime Minister is trying to shift goalposts. He's trying to deflect people's attention from what has happened in Manipur. Please ask this lady not to heckle me. So I did not heckle you. Shut up. I just asked for time because the debate is.
I'm just coming across to you, Sanju. Sanju, give him 10 seconds. I'll come to you. Sanju, 10 seconds. I'm giving you the last word.
Who the hell are you? Please, I think the country is
I'm coming to you, Sanju. Manojit, please don't. Manojit, Nilanjan is speaking. He's capable of. Nilanjan, 1 minute. 1 minute. No, 1 minute. Don't do this. No, it's not fair. Please don't. I told you we're having. I plan to have a decent debate. Please don't do this. No, it's not fair. I'm losing time in this. I'm losing time in this. I'm giving time to Sanju because I have only 1 minute left. I have only 1 minute.
30 seconds.
Manojit, don't heckle Manojit. Manojit, you're taking away Nilanjan's time. Nilanjan can defend himself. Manojit, he doesn't need you to defend him. He doesn't need you to defend him. Nilanjan is capable of defending himself. Sanju,
Nilanjan, I seek your protection.
I have 1 minute left. Don't do this. Let her at least speak for a minute.
From BJP.
I will speak if I am taken
1 minute.
The BJP.
Manojit, Nilanjan can defend himself.
Is doing this violence in Bengal purposefully. The Prime Minister just wants to
moderating the debate and you're being
okay, you made a okay. I got your point, Nilanjan. I got your point. Let her respond. I have 1 minute left.
There's no substance to speak on the floor of Parliament.
Okay, Nilanjan. In all fairness, I came. Nilanjan and Manojit, in all fairness, I've given you time. I just have 1 minute left. I'm requesting you to let Sanju speak. Okay, Sanju.
No, I will also heckle her.
I refuse to debate. You can have these men debate.
No, don't heckle anybody, please. Don't. This is not a free for all. I'm sorry. This is not a free for all. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. Sanju.
And you are shouting that.
I will not shout. You have.
Can you guys please back off?
Please ask this woman to
Sanju.
keep shut
Okay,
when I'm
one sec.
speaking.
Can all of you just pull back? I told you. No, you don't hold. No, 1 minute. You please don't hold. Don't hold my debate. Don't hold my debate hostage to whatever you guys have to say to each other. Please, you can go on social media, abuse each other, and do what you want. But on the channel, you will not heckle each other or speak over each other. I have 1 minute left. You're wasting my time, Sanju. Sanju, my question is to Sanju. Please let us speak and get done with it. I have 1 minute left from the debate.
Thank you. You know, so Niranjan, forget about what the BJP says. Forget about what anybody from the political spectrum says. At least let us believe what the Kolkata High Court said before deployment of central paramilitary forces. The Kolkata High Court categorically told the Mamata Banerjee dispensation that it has failed to inspire confidence given its past track record. Then the Kolkata High Court judgment was questioned by the State Election Commission and the Mamata Banerjee regime in the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court upheld the Kolkata High Court judgment and told the Mamata Banerjee government the license to hold elections is not a license to violence. Look at these goons.
No, but this is not done. Not done. Not done. Not done. This heckling is not done. This is really not done. No, you can't do this every single day. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do this. It's not fair. You know what? The viewer, let me tell you, the viewer switches off. The viewer switches off when you do this. Nilanjan, Manojit, let her finish. I'll give you 30 seconds. Let her finish. Manojit, this is very, 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 let me tell you, Manojit and Nilanjan, don't heckle her. Give her 10 seconds, yaar. Give her 10 seconds.
No, give her 10 seconds. You're pleading with...
Nobody can hear you. I can't hear you, Manojit, Nilanjan, I can't hear you. Nobody can hear you. No, it's not fair. No, I'm sorry, I'm drawing the line. Just because, let me tell you something. Manojit and Nilanjan, just 1 minute. Manojit, Nilanjan, just because we don't put faders down, 1 minute. Just because we don't put faders down, please don't take that for granted. It's not fair. I told you I have very limited time on the debate. It's really not fair. It's not fair. I told you. Just because we don't put faders down, don't take advantage of that. I'm telling everybody on the debate, don't do that. It's not fair to the viewer. The viewer just switches off. Nobody hears you, nobody hears Nilanjan, nobody hears Manojit, nobody hears Sanju Verma when you speak over each other. I don't have time, but I just want to tell you one thing, it's not fair. Remember that people switch off when they hear you speak over each other, heckle each other. Thank you very much. I apologize. You know what? I apologize to the viewer. I apologize to the viewer for this. I apologize to the viewer for this, and I'm sorry, but I've run out of time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. The next time don't heckle each other and then say don't give gyan. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi referred to the violence during the Panchayat polls in West Bengal. He said the Trinamool Congress played with blood. The Prime Minister further accused the party of booth capturing. Century Laminates brings you further details on this. Take a look.
पश्चिम बंगाल के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए, पश्चिम बंगाल के गरीब भाई बहनों के लिए जिस प्रकार से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, एक प्रकार से साधना कर रहे हैं, अपने आप को तिल तिल जला करके ये हमारे कार्यकर्ता पश्चिम बंगाल का उस पुराने वैभव को वापस लाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। अभी अभी वहां पंचायत के चुनाव हुए। इस चुनावों में टीएमसी ने कैसा खूनी खेल खेला, ये भी देश ने देखा है। पहले चुनाव में इनका तरीका क्या है? पहले तो चुनाव की तैयारी के लिए समय मत दो, बहुत ही जल्दी फॉर्म भरने की तारीख घोषित कर दो, फिर कोई भी विरोधी दल का, कोई भी बीजेपी का व्यक्ति पर्चा ही न भर सके, इसके लिए जो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं करो। और अगर मानो उसने चातुर्यपूर्वक फॉर्म भरने के लिए जगह पर पहुंच भी गया तो फिर चुनाव लड़ने में अड़ंगे डालना, उनको घर घर जाने नहीं देना, प्रचार करने नहीं देना, धमकियां देना और सिर्फ भाजपा के कार्यकर्ताओं को धमकाना, ऐसा नहीं, वोटरों को भी भयभीत कर देना और बीजेपी की जो समर्थक रिश्तेदार हैं उनको भी जीना मुश्किल कर देना, घर से निकलने नहीं देना। और जब वोटिंग होती है तो उस वोटिंग में थप्पेबाजी करना, ये टोलाबाजों की फौज थप्पेबाजी की फौज बन जाती है। सारे गुंडों को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया जाता है, कितने पोलिंग बूथ को कौन कैप्चर करेगा, मतपेटियां उठा करके भागना और फिर जब काउंटिंग होता है तो एक एक वोट पर अड़ंगे डालना।
A squadron of the upgraded MiG-29 fighter jets has been deployed at the Srinagar Air Base ahead of Independence Day celebrations to tackle threats from both bordering nations. Century Laminates brings you this report. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ankit Prasad and you are watching Republic TV, India's #1 English news channel. There's a lot happening around the country. The Prime Minister has made 3 crucial speeches broaching a number of important topics, including in relation to states like Manipur and also the developments in Bengal. Meanwhile, in Karnataka, there is a huge face-off over corruption and contractors. The BJP and the Congress are at each other's throats. There is also a face-off over the set of laws that were introduced by the Home Minister in Parliament, the laws for a new India. And meanwhile, also in Pakistan, there is an interim government and a caretaker prime minister. We'll tell you about all that and more on this bulletin. Let's start off with the headlines.
ये लोग सदन से भाग गए, ये पूरे देश ने देखा है। लेकिन ये बहुत ही दुखद है कि इन लोगों ने मणिपुर के लोगों के साथ इतना बड़ा विश्वासघात किया।
Prime Minister Modi tears into the opposition over the Manipur issue, says the opposition did everything to sideline the Manipur debate.
अभी वहां पंचायत के चुनाव हुए। इस चुनावों में टीएमसी ने कैसा खूनी खेल खेला, ये भी देश ने देखा है।
Prime Minister's direct attack on the Trinamool over the Bengal Panchayat poll violence, says TMC playing politics of blood.
जो पराधीनता को स्वीकार कर लेता है, जो लड़ता नहीं है, उससे कोई प्रेम नहीं करता। और इसी भावना को लेकर आज देश गुलामी की मानसिकता से मुक्ति के संकल्प पर आगे बढ़ रहा है।
PM Modi raises temperatures in battleground Madhya Pradesh, lashes out at the previous Congress government.
ब्रिटिश औपनिवेशवाद से जुड़े हुए ये तीनों कानून थे, पेनल कोड, इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट और सीआरपीसी। आज उसका भारतीय अपेक्षाओं, भारतीय आवश्यकताओं और आधुनिक चुनौतियों के आलोक में उसको किया गया, इस पर क्या आपत्ति है?
Opposition protests against the law for a new India raises the freedom of speech argument. The BJP rebuts it right back.
I want it to be very fair. I want Karnataka to have a very fair administration. This is our dream. The people on our word They have given us a mandate.
A big political face-off in Karnataka over graft charges. BJP demands a probe. Congress hits back.
किसी को खतरा महसूस करने की जरूरत नहीं है। हर किसी की आस्था सुरक्षित है और इसलिए हमें इस मामले में गवर्नमेंट से हमें कहना भी चाहिए और समर्थन देना चाहिए।
Days after Kerala Chief Minister brings anti-UCC resolution, Kerala's governor slams the anti-UCC brigade, says fake propaganda being spread. Suspense over Pakistan's caretaker government ends. Senator Anwarul Haq made the interim PM. Viewers, hitting out at members of the INDIA bloc who staged a walkout in the Lok Sabha while he was speaking. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the people of the opposition ran away in the middle of the discussion and that they were scared of voting on the no confidence motion. PM Modi said it is disheartening that these individuals greatly let down the people of Manipur. Here are excerpts from the Prime Minister's fiery attack, followed by the political face